Have you ever felt like something in your life is just missing? Like no matter how hard you push or how much you achieve, a part of you still whispers, you're not enough. Maybe you've reached milestones that should feel fulfilling, yet something inside you still aches for more. That, my friend, is the Holy Spirit tugging gently at your heart, inviting you into a deeper, more intimate relationship with God. And the beautiful truth, it's not as nearly as complicated as the world makes it seem. All it takes is an open heart and an open mind. Welcome to the Step Into Your Calling podcast, a live workshop-style health and wellness experience designed to help you live with purpose, confidence, and spiritual clarity. Your host, Sol Lagunas, a registered nurse, mother of 3, wife, student, and faith-driven leader, brings practical wisdom and heartfelt encouragement to guide you as you step boldly into the calling God has placed on your life. Are you ready to begin? Hello, happy Tuesday. We're back for another episode of the Step Into Your Calling podcast. I'm your host, Sol Lagunas, and I need to give you an update of where the heck have I been. The last episode I recorded was back in March, so if you haven't listened to me since March, I am extremely sorry. If you just heard an episode yesterday, welcome back. It's a welcome back for me too, because I've been just MIA. It's been a couple of months of transition, a couple of months of, I don't want to say isolation, but just intimate encounter with the Lord and disconnection from Him. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. The honesty is I've always had this pushback to create content. Like maybe because I'm a perfectionist, I am OCD or have a little bit of OCD, a type A personality, whatever you want to title it. I've always felt that pushback of, the episode has to be perfect in order for me to publish, or if I don't have anything good to say, I shouldn't be recording, or I didn't do my studying, my Bible reading, and so I have nothing to say. But that is far from the truth. And during this time of absence, I have been able to notice that I do have something to say, and every time I think about the podcast, I get a tug in my heart of like, why are you not doing it? Why is this not on your to-do list like all the other 100 items on the to-do list? And to be honest, I don't have an answer to that. I have been struggling to figure that out myself, but I have been gone since March. As I mentioned, the last episode I recorded was back then. So March, currently we're in August. So we're just at the beginning of August. So I'll say March, April, May, June, July, August. So 5 months of just wilderness. I want to say that has been the season I've been in wilderness. I am in a new role or a full-time role, and the change from the previous job I had to this one also was taking up a lot of my mental capacity to coordinate and just ensuring that I had a smooth transition, both in leaving the old university and then coming into the new company. So that happened in June. So I am officially off of orientation for that new job that I have. However, As you know, with anything new, it doesn't take just a couple of months of orienting. It takes very, very long to just get acclimated with the new systems, the new policies, the new staff, new everything. So that's what's been happening. That has definitely been a huge chunk of why I've been absent, why I've been gone. But then the other thing that has been happening is, trying to figure out where the disconnection from God started. Because as of right now, in this second, that's how it's felt lately. Like I'm not hearing him. I'm not, dreaming. I'm just not feeling the presence. And I think that this is definitely something that as a new believer, you may be struggling with, or as a person who has been involved and active in your faith, that you feel those periods of like, where are you, God, right? And so I did want to share that with you, because I feel like that will help you to see that you're not alone in this journey of finding your relationship with God back again. And I know yesterday I was doing a journaling prompt, and I know why I'm feeling disconnected. And just like I was journaling, like I know why, and I know how I can start that up. It feels like common sense. It feels like if you just start doing what you were doing before, you would hear him and feel him. But I feel like there is a layer or a wall of shame that goes along that keeps me from stepping into the rhythm of Bible studying, of prayer, of meditation, of just being with God alone. And that shame is keeping me from doing all of those things. And so, I don't know if anyone else struggles with this, but I'm definitely struggling, or in the struggle bus with that. Other things that have been happening, the kids have been out of school. So the kids came out of school in May, towards the end of May, and they've been on summer break. So they've been at home since then, and they're still at home. And they go back the end of this month. So we have about 3 weeks left before they have to officially go back to school. And that also has been overwhelming in the sense of feeling that mom guilt. I think I shared this with a friend, so I'll share this with you. Like, I never recommend anyone to start a new job while their children are in summer. Like, it's just not easy to navigate at all. So I had been feeling somewhat of mom guilt, and I hadn't felt that for a while. I want to say like even the beginning of the year, I might have had like an episode or two of just severe like mom guilt. But I've been feeling the mom guilt from all of like June, July, of just like coming home from work tired and not being present and not being actively involved in like, playing with the kids or taking them out to the park or just doing things with them, because I'm just exhausted, or I feel exhausted, physically and mentally. So I guess that also has been, on my mind and just keeping me away from doing the podcast. Part of me thinks like, well, you have a full-time job, right? You have 3 kids that you have to take care of. I am a mom of 5 kids, but I physically gave birth to 3. And so I do have the 5 kids that I think about on a constant basis, but I don't physically have all of them at once with me, which I mean, there has been moments, right? Like 1 or 2 days here, whether it's like family gatherings, celebrate birthday celebrations, or whatever the case may be, then we'll find ourselves with all 5 kids at the same time. But but the truth is, like, you know, I have a full-time job. I have the 3 kids that are very young and active, and I cannot get up. Like, I come home, my whole routine has completely shifted, and I just don't have the energy to continue that momentum of just energy and energy after energy, if that makes any sense. But we could definitely talk about that in this episode. The first thing that I want to touch base on is just like the job, right? Like, not in a million years that I think that I would be changing jobs at all. Like, it was not something that I planned. It wasn't something that came easy. In fact, it was very, very difficult to make the decision to leave my old job and start a new role. But with that being said, I mean, in hindsight, it's an opportunity that if I had not taken, I would have probably been wondering and asking myself, what if? Now you're probably thinking, like, you know, did you consult God? Did you ask him, you know, to do what did you want to do, or what the next steps were? And to be honest, I want to say that I was thinking about him and talking to him during the whole time, but I was already feeling that disconnection with the Lord back in May. So I mean, I don't know. It was a disconnection of just not hearing him loudly. And I don't hear a physical voice when I speak to God. I just sense him loudly, if that makes any sense. And during that time, I was not sensing him loudly. And I felt like his silence was telling me that I could navigate this change to the best of my ability, knowing that I'm still talking to him, I'm still consulting him, and realizing that sometimes that I will have those periods where I don't hear him actively or strongly. And so I left my faculty role as a nursing instructor, and I transitioned into a nursing educator role for a hospice company. And I don't know if you have listened to previous episodes, but my background in nursing is hospice. I've been a nurse for 8 years. It's going to be 9 in November, which is crazy to me to think that much time has gone by. But out of the 8 years, 5 of those have been in hospice. So I do think that hospice was a factor in building my relationship with God, like a huge factor. I started in hospice in 2019, and I started my journey and my faith journey back in 2020. So I don't think those are coincidental. I think they're very much aligned with one another. And I just loved hospice. Like, I loved being part of the family during the most vulnerable time in their lives, and getting to know my patients and their end of life wishes and the what ifs and the regrets has really helped me and really impacted how I live my life today, or how I started living life back then up until this point and going forward. And so when this opportunity presented itself in my head, I'm like, hey, if I don't take this, I don't know, like I might regret it, because I have loved hospice so much, and I feel like it's been such a huge factor in my faith journey. And I'm like, hey, I don't think anything is coincidental or by accident. I think it's very much aligned. And so I felt like, hey, what if this is part of the plan, right? What if the Lord's plan is to keep me or guide me back to that love that I had in hospice? And so I made that difficult decision to leave my full-time role, which was very hard. Like, again, I consulted the Lord. I consulted a couple of mentors and just trying to see, like, should I be making this decision? Should I just wait it out and just stay where I'm at with a possible opportunity for leadership in the future? I had all those questions that I was just like not hearing any answers for. So, in making the decision, it was definitely like, yes, there was a financial incentive. Yes, there was a possible reduction in commuting back and forth from work and home. All of those things were important moving parts into the new role. But at the same time, it was like, let's take away all of those incentives and really get at the core or at the root of what I would be doing. And to be honest, I decided that, it's an opportunity that I should take. If you didn't know, the faculty role that I was in was the first full-time role as a master's prepared nurse that I held. I had done education before, but as a BSN prepared nurse, not as a master's prepared nurse. So the faculty role was my first role, my first job opportunity, and I feel and felt that if I didn't give myself another role, another experience in a master's prepared position, that I would be always looking back and thinking, what if I had done something else with my master's degree? And so that if that's something that you struggle with, I'm right there with you. Nursing is amazing. There's so many opportunities that you can do with nursing. And whether you have an ADN, a BSN, or an MSN, as long as you're doing what you love, then you're fine. And I was doing something that I love, but I also know that I love hospice. So gave myself that opportunity. I've been doing the new role. It has been somewhat of a smooth transition. I do feel 100% supported in the new role. I do feel like I can call a friend and ask them to guide me through difficult situations or moments, and I will get that feedback and response pretty quickly, which I really love. I am working, I would say, for the most part, like independently, not in a setting like I used to be, where I could ask a colleague across the hallway or across the office for answers on questions that I had. This is more of an independent role type of like, try to see if you can figure it out. If you can't, reach out type of thing. And it is a new role to the company itself. And I could tell that, like, as I was doing orientation, I could see that, as I was describing my role to other colleagues, they were like, I have not heard of that. Tell me more. And oftentimes I would find myself saying, like, I would tell you more, but it seems like it's a newer role, so I'm not really 100% sure of what I will be doing. Now, today, after being done with orientation, I 100% know what I'm supposed to be doing. I did receive some clarity in the middle of orientation of like the expectations of what I will be doing, and so that has been relieving to some anxiety that I was feeling regarding the role. And I feel like once I get acquainted with everything and just allow time to be my best teacher and mentor, that I will be fully immersed in the new role and doing it effortlessly and with so much confidence, just like I was able to with the faculty role. And I'm not gonna lie, there has been moments where I'm like, should I have done this? And I would say it's mostly not related to the new role or anyone in the company or anything regarding my responsibilities. It's been more of a self-doubt type of situation or moment of just asking myself, like, is this the right move? Is this the right choice? But I know that self-doubt does not come from the Lord, and He would never purposely give me feelings of worry and anxiety around the situation. If anything, He is the Lord of peace and comfort, and I have felt moments of peace and comfort in the situation, but for the most part, it's been just navigating through the different emotions. And part of it, or a huge chunk of it, I should say, has been that mom guilt. And so leaving the old job left me with no summer break, and in leaving the old job left me with working a full-time Monday through Friday in the office role. And so I see like those are definitely items of sacrifice, and with sacrifice comes the added pressure of like, okay, this is a sacrifice, but I may not see the benefits of it yet, or instantaneously, because that's not how life works. Amazon packages do come instantly, but not these moments of, sacrifice and seeing the benefits of that sacrifice. So I'm working Monday through Friday, and it's an 8 to 5 job, and I'm coming home tired, and the kids are in summer break, and so their summer break has been just like being at home. I have tried to sprinkle in some outings here and there, sometime with family, with cousins, and just, trying to get them out of the couch and from their tablet into something more active and fun. But I'm not gonna lie, mom guilt has really taken over these last few months of just, what did I do? Why did I make that change at that moment? And honestly, like, the change was seamless. I was just wrapping up a session at the university, and so as soon as I was able to wrap it up, the other job was so flexible that they allowed me to finish the semester with the students, and then I was able to leave with ample amount of time. So like, I gave my job, you typically want to give them a 2 weeks notice, but I gave them like 6 weeks notice. I also helped with preparation from giving all the information in my head or in my brain to the new faculty that was going to be taking over the course. And so, it was seamless, in my opinion. I don't know if my boss would think that, or my ex-boss, but it was seamless. However, the whole at-home situation was not seamless. It was kind of like a shock to the kids of not having mom around and going back to that schedule of, just being at work and not being at home. And so that has kind of made me feel like, not so good. And I think part of the disconnection that I'm feeling with God is due to the feelings of guilt and shame that I'm having, because I do concretely believe that if there are any feelings of worry, of fear, of sadness, of guilt, of shame, of doubt, if any of those feelings that are not from God exist in you, then that is a wall and even a foothold that the enemy uses to keep you in that state of mind and doesn't allow you to move forward. And so I think that is what's happening with me, is that I have this wall of guilt and shame that stem from these changes that are occurring around me, and the enemy knows that, and he has been actively feeding my mind with thoughts that are not good. And I don't want to scare you. It's not something that you need to be concerned with about me for or anything like that. It's just something that I recognize. And that's the first step to getting out of that, right? Is recognizing what is happening in me, in my mind, that the enemy has control of, and how can I combat or battle those emotions, feelings, thoughts, ideas out. And one of those ways that I could be battling and confronting the enemy is by reading and meditating in the Word of God, and I have not been doing that. So I'm just saying it how it is, and that's what it is. That's what it is. And again, these things sound like common sense, like, hey, soul, if you know that reading the Bible is going to help you navigate these emotions, why don't you just read the Bible? And I mean, that makes 100% sense. I don't know. I don't have that answer. I just know that I'm not doing it. And so it doesn't mean that I'm completely cut off from biblical knowledge. It's more like I'm not actively sitting down and opening my Bible. Yes, I read the verse of the day. Yes, if a colleague, if a sister in Christ sends me a verse or a devotional, I will read it. Like, I'm not completely cut off from the Word. I am just not having that alone time, sitting, meditating, journaling on the Word like I used to, like I would on the previous episodes that you were listening to. And so that, has been a difficult situation to navigate. I'm praying that God continues to work in me, that He is actively working on my behalf, because I know that even though I'm feeling like this today, that it is not for a waste. Like, I'm gonna learn something out of this moment and in this season. I just don't know what that is yet, and I'll definitely tell you once I know in another episode. But that is the situation that's happening in that sense, in that realm. I will say some of the good things. I know this episode has probably been a little bit depressing, but some of the good things are just the fact that I have a new job in hospice. Like, that is such a beautiful and very rewarding moment, and that I get to utilize my knowledge, my degree, my experience in a new way. So that has been super nice. Also, the kids have been super understanding. Like, before in past experiences, like, I would battle with my girls because they're girls and they're sassy and they are just wanting me to do everything for them or do everything I can do for them and with them. So I will say that they have been more understanding in the sense of like, hey, we get it. Like, you go to work, it is what you got to do. Now, is that a good thing? I don't know. They're little, right? A 12 and a 9-year-old girls. And I don't know if it's going to impact them later or not. I don't know that yet. But I do keep them informed of everything that's happening so that they know that I'm not just going to work and ignoring them, but I am doing something for the benefit of the whole family. And so they understand that now. They didn't used to when they were little, but now they're coming around. They're trying to grasp the idea that, hey, mom's gonna go to work because, you know, she wants to buy us squishies for our birthdays or squishies for the summer or whatever that may be. Now they know, right? And so I've been a little bit more vocal with them of like, hey, these are the things that are helping me to help you. So that way you know why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I'm gone all the time. The other thing that has happened is I am more at home, more with my family than I used to be. I'm very active and involved with the community, with the church, with even my own circle of believer friends. Very involved. So always like hosting some type of gathering, some type of fellowship, an event, Bible studies. I'm very involved with that. But since May, June, I have completely stopped being in that realm or making that area of my life a priority. It's still important to me. It just because it's not a priority doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It is more so of just reorganizing, reprioritizing what is important for me for right now. And I realized in these months that maybe being a leader in my own community was not something that I wanted to prioritize on top of everything else that I was prioritizing. So I did make the decision to step back and close our group of close our group of women that were in the Bible studies. So I created this WhatsApp group back in 2023. And this was just solely for the purpose of communicating during our Bible study time. And I started the Bible studies back in 2023. And as the years passed, as time passed, we just kept adding more girls into the group and just, you know, fellowshipping and messaging each other through that group. But the group was not always like 100% active. And I mean, definitely that could have been something that I could work on to make it more active and make it more, more involved, more, I don't know, just active. And I decided that that was not something that I wanted to take on. And during that time, I explicitly heard from the Lord saying, you need a Sabbath. You need to rest. You need to focus on yourself, focus on your family, focus on your job, and I will take care of the girls in that group. And as soon as that message came on, and I heard it during a church sermon, I closed it. I let the girls know like I was gonna close it, to exchange information, to make sure that we were following each other on social media, and then I shut it down. And although it was a difficult decision for me to make, in the moment that I did it, I felt the overflow of peace in my soul, like so much peace around that. And I think part of it was because God did say that. Like, God was like, no, you need to stop and you need to rest, and I will take care of them. And I think that was my pushback of like thinking, if I don't pour into this, who will? And that's another lie of the enemy, right? That it's on us and it's on our backs, on our shoulders, our responsibility to show up in that way. But the Lord said, no, that's not your responsibility. Leave the salvation to me, and I let it go. So I surrender that, and that is definitely something that I needed to do, because since doing it, I have not felt any feelings of worry, concern, of guilt, or shame around that part of my life. And so because I closed that group, I also decided that now my time was more valuable. And so I needed to prioritize who I was giving access to my time. And so when I did that, I was able to say, okay, well, maybe X, Y, and Z is not gonna be on my calendar this month because I just don't feel like they need access to my time. And so that has allowed me to be more at home and present with my kids and my husband, and not be out every time I'm home. Because when I would be home from work, I would typically have like a coffee date scheduled, or I would have an event on that weekend, or I would have a Bible study in the evening. And that would take away time from my family to be with the ladies in the group, or, fellowshipping, whatever that case may be. And now with that being gone, I am able to be more at home. And yes, I still try my best to continue with fellowshipping, but now instead of doing fellowships and community events with the world, I'm doing it with just my church. And so I know that that is a priority for me, that if I'm going to give access of time to anyone, and if anyone deserves of that time, it is the church. And so I've been more involved with the church in the sense of helping them with events, helping them, create icebreakers for our studies together, or whatever that may be. And that has been definitely rewarding and very much soul filling. So that has been another good thing that has happened. So, and it sounds like, small in comparison to 5 months of absence, but it's all just been throughout the days and throughout the months. Now, I do want to be intentional as I continue to build this podcast. Thank you for all of those that have been faithfully listening to it. I've been receiving alerts even during this time of absence. I've been receiving alerts of like multiple downloads and congratulations, and engagement percentage has gone up and increased. And I'm like, holy smokes, I haven't done an episode in days and weeks and months, and I'm still seeing people active in the podcast. So thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for reviewing the podcast. I'm so grateful and so blessed to have you being here with me. But I do want to just let you know that I want to be intentional with the content that I do pour out. And I feel like there's so much that I can be talking about, but at the same time, sometimes words just don't make it out of my head. And so I am going to play it by ear when it comes to what I will be discussing. And if there's something that you prefer, like if you'd like for me to chat more about our Bible-based Bible-based like content, I can 1000% cater that to biblical base. But I feel like there is biblical content as I'm talking to you right now with everything that has been going on in the past few months. There is biblical concept in there. It's just not directly like verbatim. And so if that's something that you enjoy, please let me know. Otherwise, I do want to just focus on giving you content that will be helpful in your journey, in your faith journey, and building your relationship with God. Because as time has passed, this concept of talking to you and just pouring into you has not changed. Like, I still very much want to do this. I still very much am feeling that tug from the Lord of, soul, continue to say what you have to say because someone needs to hear it. And that is 1000% something that I'm hearing my God say every single time I think about not having published a podcast is get your microphone on, get to talking. Somebody needs to hear what you have to say. And so if you like what you heard, please let me know. Again, rate the podcast, because as you're reviewing it and rating it and sharing it, the more people benefit from what I have to say. And I don't have a degree in psychology or counseling, but I do have a degree in life is lifing, and parenting is parenting. I mean, all the things. But foremost, just being in that valley with you of God, like, talk to me, or God, are you listening? Or God, what is it that I have to learn right now? Because I just don't know. Like, I'm very much there with you. And you're hearing that. Like, if you go back to the previous episodes, you can hear like when that transition happened in my life of actively listening, actively hearing God, and then where I'm at now, where I'm not hearing him as much, but I'm still hoping and praying that he does speak to me. And I know what I have to do. And so if that's something that you took away from this episode, is if there's anything that you should take away from this episode, is I recognize that I'm not hearing him, and I know why, but it's time to take steps towards being active again. And you're going to be my accountability partner. So keep me accountable to go back into the word and keep going to church and keep meditating and being intimate with the Lord. So you're going to be my accountability partner. If there's anything that has helped me throughout this season, I will definitely link it and put it in the show notes. But that's all I have for you today. I hope to be with you again next week. And if I am not, please let me know that you are listening. Let me know that you are waiting for the next episode to be released, and I will be there. So, all right, accountability partner, that's all I have for you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Congratulations on completing this episode and choosing to take another meaningful step toward a deeper, more fulfilling relationship with God. If this message encouraged you or stirred something in your spirit, please share it with someone who may need that same reminder of God's love and invitation. Stay connected with me on all social media platforms at Sol Lagunas. And thank you for supporting this podcast by subscribing, rating, and reviewing. Your support truly helps this mission reach more hearts. Never forget how deeply appreciated you are. sending you a big virtual hug. Until the next one, keep drawing closer to God and step into your calling without fear.